Chris Nichols here again from the Camera Store TV. Welcome back, viewers, on this beautiful spring day. As you can tell by my awesome pants, we are going fishing today, and it's the perfect camera for it, the Pentax KS2, their smallest weather-sealed camera on the market right now. Now, just a bit of backstory. If you guys watched our 2014 end-of-year special, we actually voted the KS1, the predecessor to this camera, as one of the worst of that year. It just didn't fill any niche. It had weird LED lights, it was lacking features, and it wasn't weather sealed, which is a classic Pentax hallmark that we really like. So here we go, KS2. They've got a strong, rugged, weather sealed body once again. We're gonna take it out and see if it's good for this kind of outdoor activity. Now, Pentax claimed that the KS2 is actually the smallest weatherproof camera on the market, and as an SLR it is very compact, but one thing I do notice about the handling, it's a heavy chunk of camera. It really is fairly large feeling, you know, way bigger than you'd expect. And when you're walking around fishing all day or doing outdoor activities, that can actually be a detriment, especially if you consider that there are mirrorless waterproof cameras on the market, like the EM5 Mark II and the XT1, which will be substantially lighter than this camera. Now, on this same topic of keeping the KS2 nice and compact, we've got a brand new kit lens, this 18-50 DAL. Now, this is a waterproof lens, and it's also incredibly compact. Part of this whole collapsible kit lens phenomenon that's taken all the market by storm right now. I'm gonna say this right off the bat. It does feel a little bit cheap, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's plasticky, it's a real pain in the ass to get unlocked, as you can see right there. Once you get it in the zoom range, nice and smooth. It is certainly lightweight, it certainly has a plasticky feel, but it is weather sealed, and you're not gonna find that on any other kit lens in the market like this. All right, so I'm gonna try a shot that nobody does anymore, and that's try to get a picture of moving water without blurring it. Fast shutter speeds freeze these water droplets, but it's moving really erratic, so I'm gonna put in continuous high-speed shooting, 5.5 frames per second, and just let it burst. High quality JPEG, fast card, let's see when it runs out. Not bad, I mean, we're getting about 15 shots, 16 shots, so pretty average for this kind of market, but at the same time, I'm getting covered in water, drops everywhere, and I don't have to worry at all about this camera. Now, I know in the show we talk a lot about mirrorless cameras and how amazing they are and how they're taking over, and I mean, that's because it's true, but SLRs still have a very unique feature, and that's what made them an SLR in the first place. It's that true optical viewfinder. What you see is what you get. And what I love about the KS2 is that Pentax has not skimped out here. They're putting the K3's professional 100% full coverage viewfinder in here. It's a joy to use, it's perfect magnification, nice and bright. You couldn't ask for a better SLR viewfinder in this camera. The KS2 is also giving you a fantastic variable flip screen. This is a first for Pentax. I know everybody else has done it, but this is a nice touch. You got your selfie capability, and I really like that there's a cutout here so I can get my finger in there and pull it out. A lot of other cameras, you're always struggling to get in there. Now, they took all the LEDs off of this camera when they made it, except for one very handy thing. When you pull out the screen and go into live view mode to take a selfie, it actually reverses the shutter to the Wi-Fi button. You got your LED lighting up there to show you which one to push, and it's a much more comfortable way to get a selfie. We got a lot of bright sunlight today, and of course it's going to be tricky when it comes to dynamic range, and like most cameras, the Pentax does have highlight compression and shadow boosting built in with its dynamic range optimizer. Take a picture here. Take a look, and on our histogram, everything's fitting in there very, very nicely. So no issues at all with that pulling down. But I'm also going to try something else. I love that the Pentaxes shoot DNG as a native RAW format if you want. So taking a look at this DNG file, I'm going to go in here, playback, process it in camera, and there we go again. Really, really nice control. no problem. We can pull down that highlight detail safely. So all in all, the KS2's got really nice dynamic range, very comparable to something from Nikon like the D5500. It's nice to see. Now, when it comes to video on the KS2, unfortunately, I'm a little bit disappointed. We're getting 1080p, which is fine, 24, 25, and 30 frames per second. That's all standard fare, but this is an action outdoor camera. You're gonna wanna do slow-mo. That's what everybody wants. 60 frames per second, no problem, but only at 720p. That's way behind the competition, and it's really unfortunate. Now, you couple that with Pentax not having the best video codec yet on the market, and you're just not getting anything that's gonna wow you. Now, some other video features that we got here, mic jack right on the side, but no headphone jack, unfortunately. And on the off and on dial, we've also got a full connector to kick us right into movie mode. Handy, we don't have to go into live view and then, hope to try and get into a movie separately. Now, in this movie mode, I can hit the OK key to get punch in focus, and I do have peaking, but we can only get white as a color. And the unfortunate thing is when you start recording, the peaking turns off, so you can't use it to focus pull, things like that. So again, that's kind of an unfortunate oversight. Hopefully something they'll fix in firmware. Now, Pentax has been advertising very heavily, might I add, their 4K video for interval timing. Well, yeah, if you think about it, it saves you one step, but all cameras that are 8 megapixels can do 4K video interval timing with interval setup, so nothing fancy there. Unfortunately, the KS2 is not a video beast at all. Now, autofocusing on the KS2, it's good and bad. I mean, there's some things that I really like. In good light like this, the camera seems to focus very, very quickly. I'm gonna start here, close to far, got the 20 to 40 limited on here. I mean, it's certainly predictable. I wouldn't say it's the snappiest. I do find that once in a while you are gonna lose it. It just hunts and it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason. But all in all, it's okay. Only 11 points to focus with though, so you're not gonna get a full array. You gotta remember, something like a D5500 is giving us many more autofocusing points, 3D focusing and tracking. But still, nice and quick. It's certainly very, very usable. Now, on a handling aspect when it comes to autofocusing, I've got the back button focusing, which I like, and I've actually moved the focusing point selection to the raw button on the side because I've never really liked how Pentax has this OK button to do it. I find that I'm always getting my autofocusing point coming up when I don't want it to. It's really easy to hit that, or I have to hold it down, wait for it to disappear before I can do something else with it. So I've switched it over here, and that does improve the ergonomics of the camera. Even still, already 4 or 5 times today, I've come to use the camera and realized my point has somehow been hit with that raw button and been moved over to the right or the left. So it's a little bit tricky. I don't love it. Here's something I do really like. Pentax has updated the image sync app that they use for remote connectivity. You got NFC here, you got Wi-Fi as standard features, but the new app is just a really nice interface. We can remote shoot, and that makes a lot of sense when you're out here on your own, doing action and adventure. Set the camera up on a tripod, get in position, start the camera, change the settings. It makes a lot of sense. If you don't have any friends at all with you, well, it's a great way to shoot on your own. And if you do have some friends out there, well, take some shots, get that trophy fish, get that moment of a lifetime, and then just upload it and send it right away through your phone. It all makes a lot of sense. Now, when it comes to image quality on the KS2, I'm very, very pleased. 20 megapixel APS-C size sensor, no aliasing filter, so it's super sharp. And the KS2, you've got great low light performance. I've always really loved Pentax's processing engine. We saw this with the K3. It delivered better low light performance than any other camera in its class. Now, the KS2, I would say, compared to a Nikon D5500, almost exactly the same high ISO performance. So we're losing 4 megapixels, but it's very sharp, it's very clean, and again, they've got a really organic pattern to their noise. So I love this camera in low light. I would say it's not heads and above the rest of the class like the K3 was, but it's certainly comparable, and you're gonna love the images you get out of the camera. All right, so we know that Pentax are famous for their weather seal and their ruggedness. I'm gonna put it to the test here. We got some disgusting mud, and this is a bit above and beyond, but you know what? If it can take this, it can take pretty much everything. Here we go. All right. Now, one thing I will say about the design on this, that orange plastic on the bottom, it certainly gives it a sporty look, and actually, I didn't think I'd like it, but I really don't mind it. But this texturing on top, it's a good thing this thing's waterproof, because I'm thinking finger oils and dirt and gunge is gonna get all caught in there. But overall, I mean, this camera's on, you can see the whole time, really no problem. Now, it is weather sealed, it could take splashing like we're doing here, no problem. But what about an immersion and a dunk? Let's just give it a quick rinse and see if it's still okay. Yeah, no problem. These Pentax KS2s, they're really made for this rugged environment, and I do love that about them. Wow. So the wind's just howling now, so we're not gonna be doing any more fishing today, but that's okay. We had a fun time with the Pentax KS2. These are my final thoughts on this camera. You know, I've been talking all day, and I think you guys kind of get a feeling like I'm not blown away by it, but really the image quality is fantastic, right up there with a lot of the other cameras on the market. The KS2 is just not doing anything that goes above and beyond in regards to handling, autofocus, video. It's actually really kind of a little bit below what we've already seen on the SLR market, and that's tough because you really need to compete better than ever right now to really sell these cameras. But at the start of this whole talk, I talked about how the KS1 had no niche and just no place. I can happily say the KS2 certainly does have a niche. If you're going to do outdoor activities, you've seen us torture test this camera can do it. It's got nice features, it's rugged, it's weather sealed, and it's going to give you great handling with the viewfinder and the screen. You're going to like those features. So all in all, if you're doing action, if you're going to beat up your camera and you absolutely want an SLR, the KS2 is a great way to go. Thanks so much, guys. Better fishing next time, hopefully. We'll see you soon.